Welcome once again, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, this Thursday, for our financial literacy and money matters. Every Thursday, as always, we come here. We do tackle different topics regarding finance or money. Money matters. Money is everything that is important to all of us. That is why we work so hard for it. My name is Immaculate Businje. It is always a pleasure to be with you, to learn with you, to explore strategies that can help all of us grow that wealth, that American dream that we all work hard for. So tonight we have a very good topic that is going to be focusing on building, protecting, and preserving that generational wealth or the American dream we all work so hard for. So sometimes people wonder, what does really generational wealth mean? What is it? What does it mean? So we all work so hard to make the money, to accumulate the wealth. But what does it really mean for us to be able to make enough money that will go beyond myself, my children, and my grandchildren and grandchildren? So at many times we find that people work so hard to accumulate that money, but based on how they save, at times they're not able to get there. But generational wealth really means building assets and the financial systems that can continue to support your family beyond your lifetime. It is not just about earning money. It is about protecting that money that you make, growing it or growing your assets, and having a clear plan to pass those assets or the wealth beyond you and your immediate family members. So sometimes you wonder, you see many people working so hard, but they still struggle. They struggle to save. They struggle to make ends meet. They struggle even to save a few dollars actually for the rain day when they lose the job, like maybe 6 months. But why is that? Most of that is also caused by the fact that we work so hard, but working hard alone is not enough. We have to have strategies for saving that money, for protecting the money, for investment, for long-term planning, for you to be able to actually go beyond today, but to be able to continue for the generations to come. So tonight, I'm actually very honored to be joined by Engineer Collins Nwari, who is a licensed financial professional as well, who will take us through the practical insights on how families can build that financial stability and long-term growth. He will take us there. But again, these conversations we always have here, they are meant to be interactive. We come here to learn together as a community, as families. So share in. But for now, keep your questions as he dives into the presentations. But we want you to participate. Participation is very key for us to be able to know how we can actually help one another. Engineer Colin, please take it on.
Thank you very much, Ms. Immaculate. It's a pleasure and honor to be joining you today to talk about a topic that is really important, isn't it? So I want to give a warm welcome to everyone that's joining us today. Like Ms. Immaculate said, my name is Colin Nwari, and I'm here today because I believe financial literacy isn't a luxury. It's really a necessity for us all. We weren't taught how money works in school, personally speaking, but today we're going to change that. At the end of this presentation, I want the takeaway to be that it's not about getting rich overnight, but it's about building a foundation that ensures that your family is safe no matter what happens in the world, okay? So we'll be covering the basic principles of building a financial foundation. Think of it as Finance 101, okay? So in life, we have a lot of challenges, right? S- and these challenges come about because of certain bad habits or poor decisions that we make along the way. And the problem that most of us feel like there's a leak in your wallet, right? Like money just keeps leaking out. We make money, but we don't know where it goes. We live paycheck to paycheck. We have no safety net, and the debts just feel like a heavy weight around our necks, you know? But the insight here is the wealthy don't necessarily work harder than you, but they just know a different set of rules that the rest of us just weren't taught. And today, I want to share those rules with you. So the visual that you see here um, is like a pyramid, okay? If you build a house on sand, it falls. But if you build your financial life on investments without a base, it collapses when you get sick or the car breaks down or crisis hits. So the key here is we start at the top and work our way down to the bottom. So proper protection is like the concrete of our building. Before we talk about growing money and investing it, we have to make sure that no one can take away what we have already uh, um, achieved or what we already have. So we're going to go through each of these pillars, right? The proper protection, debt management, having an emergency fund, and then going on to investments. And I want to ask you what is your current financial situation? Think about it while we go through these ones, okay? This is a rule that's used to give you an estimate as to what would be a stable foundation to build on. So first, you should have proper protection in the event of a disability or health problems or, God forbid, premature death. And next, it's important to reduce your liability by eliminating high interest debt. And then the third thing you need to consider is at least 3 to 6 months of your income to deal with sudden changes at your job or business, or to pay for unforeseen accidents or repairs. And finally, you should always save and invest for the long run. Remember, there's going to be a time when you don't work anymore, you're retired. So shooting and targeting for 20 times your income for long-term security is a wise thing to consider. So think about your current financial situation and then think about your future financial goal. What would you like to accomplish? What can we work towards? Because as they say, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. Okay. So, what are some reasons why you might need health insurance? Well, beyond death, uh, people think life insurance is just a death benefit, but it's not. It's a college fund for your kids. It's a way to pay off your house. It's a way to make sure you don't outlive your money in retirement. And some policies even pay off your estate taxes They protect your money from inflation and so many other things. So life insurance is not just inheritance that you leave behind for your children. It's not just a death benefit. And as we'll see in the future, in a few more slides, there's some life insurance policies that you can actually start to benefit from while you're still alive. Let me give you an example. Let's consider two families. The only difference between these two families is that one has life insurance and the other one doesn't. So family A does not have life insurance because dad had no insurance. When he passed away, mom has to go back to work to cover the family expenses. The house that they had just bought, now they need to move out to a less expensive home because there's only one income. And the children, because they have to move their home to a cheaper neighborhood, they have to leave their school, change friends, change schools. Their life is twisted up, upside down. This is how the loss of one parent can affect the rest of the family. Okay. Now, if we look at family B, while dad was still alive, he took out a life insurance to protect his family. And when he passed away, mom doesn't need to go back to work thanks to the cash that she received from the husband's insurance. The cash was large enough for it to pay for the family home, the debt that was left on the family home, for the children to continue attending the same school, and for the bills to be paid, the bills for the wife to be paid, while she looks around for perhaps another job or some other source of income. But in the meantime, they're well taken care of. So, which family do you think will adjust more easily to the loss of a parent or a father? Family B, right? Now, let's look at two basic types of life insurance. One is called term insurance, and the other one is called permanent insurance. And it's part of in the name. Term insurance means it's limited. It's like renting a house. It's cheap and it covers you for a while, but when you leave, you have nothing to show for it. And then permanent insurance is like owning the house or the home. As you're paying, you're building equity. Okay, so every month you pay your premium, you're building equity. In this case, it's called cash value in the permanent policy that you can actually use while you're still alive. Okay. Although I want to mention that term also has benefits that you can use while you're still alive, like if you get a chronic illness or a critical illness, when maybe you get in an accident and you lose part of your arm or your sight or certain senses. If any of that happens and you have a term insurance and it hasn't expired, then you can get those benefits while you're still alive. But the key difference between term and permanent is that term is usually not more than 30 years. So if I get it today at 30 years, by the time I turn 60, it'll be done and that's it. I have to look for a new policy or I'll be uninsured. But permanent, if I get it today at 30, it doesn't lapse until I turn 120 years old. How many of us think we will turn 120 years old? It's basically for your whole life, right? It's lifelong coverage. And so the difference, if you can picture in your mind renting versus owning a home, it will really help you understand these two basic types of insurance. Now, what was our other pillar? Protection and then debt management. So most people think that they need a lot to win a lottery to get out of debt. But I'm telling you, $100 a month can dramatically improve your debt situation. Here's an example from one of our workshops where we teach about debt roll-up. In this technique is how to pay off your debt faster. That starts with paying off the lowest balances and rolling up using what you would have towards your higher balances, okay? But in essence, this shows you that just by paying $100 a month more than you normally would on your debt payments, it can cut down your time, the time that it takes you to pay that debt by half, you see? In this example, you see that it went from 30 years just to 17 years by paying $100 extra. So if you don't want debt to continue consuming your future income, try to pay it off early so that you save on the interest payments. And the next is a concept that is called the X curve. It's a powerful concept. It shows the general relationship between responsibility and wealth building. Okay, so on the left side is the axis for your age, and on the right side is the axis for your costs. So when you're first starting out, when you're younger, in your working years, you have maximum responsibility. Like we saw in family A and family B, they have kids that are still going to school, they have a house that is not paid off yet, and they have a lot of debt, maybe student debt or credit card debt or car debt. And so we use the DIME method, which is debt, income, mortgage, and education, to try and measure or try to understand how much you need to be insured for. This is your insurable need. And it's very, very important at the first half of your life when you're working. Let's say you have 40 years of working. 20 years, you're on the left side of this curve. And then the last 20 years, you're on the right side of this curve, okay? So you can see in green or teal, when you're younger and you cross the X right here, maybe your kids are moving out, or maybe you just have like very little debt left on your house to finish paying it off, no more education bills, no more, perhaps no more income even, because you're retired, and you move into the second half of your life, where your responsibility is the lowest, but you're retired, so you need you don't have income coming in. So try to think about this X curve and where you are on the X curve when you're considering, getting protection, proper protection. So one thing I want to mention here is that, as you can see on the left side, everything is plus, 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 plus. You added all that up, and that's your insurable need. Meaning that's how much money your family would need if something was to happen to you, or even you yourself, how much money you would need if you weren't able to work anymore. Maybe there's a disability, or you get an illness, or God forbid you pass away. And on the right side, it's not about protection anymore. It's about your savings, your investments. Okay, so the formula here is that you have your money, you add some time, and then the rate of return, take out the inflation and any taxes that you might have to pay, and that's your wealth. And I put wealth in quotes because wealth is really subjective. How comfortable do you want to feel? What's important to you? That's what wealth formula is. So you may need 10 times your income to protect your family. And for retirement, you might need 20 times your income to take care of you during retirement. The reason why it's higher is because there's no more income in retirement. That's one. And two, inflation and taxes can impact those savings. So it's not just about the money that you make today. It's about the variables that work against you in retirement. So mastering time and return while maximizing, while minimizing leaks is the key. So let's talk about rate of return. I just raised it. Assume that you make 60,000 a year and you set aside 10% of that per month into an account that grows at some interest rate. Don't let the symbols scare you. It's simple. Time and your return help you. And then inflation and taxes is what hurts you. If your money is sitting in a bank account earning 0.1% and inflation is like 5%, it's making you poorer every day, you see? Because if inflation is 5%, that means that after 1 year, your money is worth 5% less than it was the year before. So we need to find where these leaks are, and plug them. So look at the difference between just 2% in rate of return will make. So by saving $500 a month, which is about $7 a day at 30 years old, in 30 years, you will have 745,000 roughly, if that $500 per month was compounding monthly at 8%. If you had put it in a vehicle that compounds 10% monthly, you'd have had $1.1 million after 30 years. So just the difference of 2% can make a huge difference. But the message here is not trying to get the perfect rate of return. It helps, it does. But the main message for me is discipline and time are your best friends here. Anyone in this room can become a millionaire if they start today and they use the right tools. These are the tools that I'm talking about. You can think about it as four main categories: safety first, tax impact, protection, and growth. Safety means you don't want to lose what you already have. So we manage risk and we preserve your capital, your principal. And number two is keep what you earn. There's three different tax implications. There's vehicles that will tax you now, today, those vehicles that will tax you later, like 401k. So you're not taxed today, but you're going to be taxed when you withdraw the money. And then there's vehicles that tax you uh, today, but then when you take out the money in the future, in your retirement, there's no tax. So it's called tax advantage. So we show you how to utilize tax deferred and tax advantaged vehicles so that you can keep what you earn. The third thing you want to remember is protection. Don't let a hospital bill or accident ruin you. Prepare for long-term care, disability, and chronic illness so that when those things do come, you're ready for them. There's actually a statistic that says you're more likely to experience one of these during your earning years than you are death. You know, in your earning years, you should be more concerned about getting a chronic chronic or critical illness or disability than you should be worried about dying. And the second thing is you need to protect your income and assets. Okay. And then the last thing that you should keep in mind is your growth strategy. You need to be outpacing inflation, like we talked about. So understanding your rate of return and knowing that it should be high enough to beat taxes and to beat inflation, so that your money is not losing value over time. So when saving and when investing, consider these important factors. One more note. Is your current situation going to allow you to reach these goals? You have two paths today. One is you want to plan for your family. So sit down with a financial advisor to look at your insurable need, help you figure out how you can make a budget and keep track of your expenses and liabilities, and set you up with the protection that fits your lifestyle and your goals. And number two is if you're making, if you want to make extra income on a part-time basis or want multiple sources of income so that you can afford to take advantage of these working years that you have, or you like what you have heard and you want to help others, we're looking for leaders to join our crusade for financial literacy. So don't live here and do nothing. Your future self is counting on the decision that you make today. Whether or not you have a family yet, you can still start planning for them or planning for yourself as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Collins. That was amazing. We learn every single day. This is your time, audience. Our good speaker here gave us some good numbers, some good strategies, some ways of actually not waiting. Start building today. And if you're already building, or if you have built a lot, make sure not forgetting to protect what you have, it is always easy for us to work so hard to not sleep, put more time into working and building the wealth, but we forget about protecting them. So thank you so very much, Collins, for that great presentation. So this is your time, as we said from the beginning. These conversations are meant to be interactive because we learn together. We are family here. Most of the topics we pick them because some of you did request them. We are here to learn with you. We are here to learn together. So open up your mic, or if you're comfortable doing that, or if you want to put something, your question, something you want to add on what our beautiful presenter did present to us tonight, you can put in the chat or open up your mic and speak to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin, for the nice presentation. So I would like for you to clarify what specific tools are there, financial tools, that can provide both protection and income growth at the same time.
Thank you, Sharon, for your question. It's a good question. So to be specific, I would go back to this slide right here, to the two different types of insurance. And I want to talk, your answer is permanent life insurance gives you a vehicle that not only protects you from for your life and health crisis that might come about, but as you contribute monthly premiums to this life policy, permanent policy, it's like paying on a mortgage for your home. You're building equity. So equity in this case will be cash value. They call it cash value. So as you put money to your policy, some of it goes to protecting you in case for your life, and the other portion of your premium goes towards cash value investments, so that as you contribute and as the policy grows, your cash value is growing with it. So that by the time you get into your retirement, you have this treasure chest of cash value that you can take out at any time, tax-free. Okay, so the money that you contribute as premiums is tax deductible, so you can deduct it on your taxes at the end of the year. And when you take it out, it's tax-free. And you can take it out as form of loans, or even withdraw the cash value itself, that you don't have to even pay it back up to a limit. Okay, so that's the good thing about a permanent life policy, because the term life policy does not have cash value and is not invested into the market or anything. It's only covering you in case you get a life, you die, or you get a critical or chronic illness. Then your death benefit can be released to you to cover for those expenses. But if nothing happens to you and the term expires, if it was 30 years and the 30 years are over, that's it. It's kind of like car insurance. If you don't get an accident this month, you don't get your premiums back. It's over. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question, Sharon, or would you like me to say it differently?
That's good. Thank you. So in summary, the permanent life insurance will offer both protecting one's life and family alongside growing their money, because part of the premium goes towards protection and then the other one goes towards the compounding.
You got it.
Okay, thank you.
Great one, great one. Maybe I can add a little bit on that. Colin did a very good job in here. But again, as we always remind people, this Financial Literacy Thursday normally takes only 1 hour. This is like everything, a lot of information compacted into 1 hour. But we encourage everyone, as you pick, if you don't, maybe you didn't get enough information, please go ahead and just book your free consultation. We'll give you all the information you need based on your financial need. Because again, every family, every individual, the financial need is different. But that question from Dr. Sharon was very good. Being able to kill so many birds with one stone is something really you can't compare to anything else, because you're paying one premium, you're getting the protection at the same time you're accumulating the money for your future, even for the rain day, as Corinne was showing us about maybe having being able to save 6 months of emergency fund. These protection like the permanent, specifically the index universal life, it works like your own bank. If I've had my money in for 5 years, for example, and I need money, I need maybe 20,000, depending on how much money I was able to put in, I can just go in, withdraw money from my cash value accumulation and pay off some debt. If I have a debt that has actually higher interest rate, that is my bank. I don't have to be denied by anyone. That is my money. These IULs are very flexible and accessible at any time. You don't have to be sick. Your money is your money. You're growing it and you're able to get it out at the same time. You're protected when you get sick. You get the money when you need it the most. That was good, Corinne. Thank you again.
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Collins, for this presentation. I learned that, so I guess I'm saying what I learned. I did learn that it's good to save up and to invest in yourself early on. Therefore, even in your insurance, they will pay back. And I think that was a very good lesson for us to learn, especially me as a young person. And this will also impact for many other young people to start saving early on. Thank you for that lesson.
That is actually fantastic, really. You said it beautiful, Shivan, because with actually when it comes to, there are different tools of savings and investing, but when it comes to, for example, the one tool that Collins was able to mention, the life insurance, for example, the earlier you get in, that is actually the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Because the younger you are, it is advantageous in all corners. For one, you pay the less premiums when you start young. Most likely, you're healthy, you have no issues. So you start early, you lock in your age, you lock in your premiums, you lock in your health. Everything is locked in. It doesn't matter what happens to you 2 months after you're approved. You're already done. So plus, like those permanent life insurance he was talking about, let me say you get an index universal life. You started off maybe paying $500 a month, and then maybe you lost a job or you're getting a lower paying job. You can actually pay half of it or stop even paying for 6 months or a year using your cash accumulation to take care of your policy. But with that, you have actually locked in everything. Different from someone who wait, say, oh, let me wait buying this policy until I'm 40 or 45 when I have enough money. They are going to be paying 3 or 4 times more expensive in premiums than someone who started maybe 20, 25, 30, or even 35, and then be able to use that flexible tool, either going up or lower based on their actual financial stability at that particular point. That was actually a good lesson learned, Shivan. Great job. Go ahead, Nema.
I'm going to start by saying thank you so much, Brother Twali, for the amazing presentation that you just made here. I like because it's short and sweet and detailed. I like the X curve concept, where it shows your responsibility at the younger age versus when you are in the retirement age. I know that when you're younger, most of the kids, they finish college, they're still living with their parents, right? So they don't have a mortgage, they don't have kids, so that's the time where they have a salary. So knowing what to do with your income at that age can help you in the later years of your career. You're getting closer to your retirement, and also the insurance is cheaper, right? The premium is lower when you're younger versus when you become, it's crazy. 10 years or even 5 years, the amount of difference, how much you're paying versus, when you're younger versus when you're 10 years or a little older. So thank you for that illustration. And also another thing I wanted to kind of ask is there a maximum that is set for, like, let's say for kids coverage in terms of the face value of the policy?
So no, there's not a maximum. That's the short answer. And so it just depends on your current financial needs and how much you have to put aside for your child. And the good thing is that since the premiums are really low, with just an increase of a little bit on the premiums, the face amount can balloon. It can be really big. So if right now a 30-year-old to get let's say $1 million policy, you might be paying somewhere, depending on your health lifestyle. Let's say you're the best health, you're a girl, for $1 million policy, you might be paying something around $400 or $500 a month. If that was for a child that is less than 1 year old, that could go down to like $50 per month. And so, that, the child can grow up, become 18, and then you can just give them as a birthday present. Here you go. I've been paying your premiums for 18 years. You have a $1 million policy that you can now take over. And they'll continue to pay $50 for as long as they have the policy. It can even get to a point where they don't need to continue paying the premiums anymore, because they've started since they were really young. By the time they're retiring, their cash value has so much savings that they can go on to not even pay a single premium since, from that day on. They just take from the cash value to pay the rest of the premiums. Isn't that incredible? So yeah, there is no limit. It just depends how much you have. Again, you don't want to stretch yourself too much that you cannot afford to pay the premiums. That would not be wise. So just look at your expenses. How much do you have left over at the end of the month? And then be like, okay, I have this much left over. I can put some aside for my child.
Thank
Good
you
question.
very much. Thank
Great
you.
one. Just to add on a little bit, Nema. So when it comes to adults, anybody 18 and above, you can take as much as you want, as Corinne said. When it comes to little ones, minors or the juveniles, some companies, some carriers like maybe Fidelity or any other companies, they require sometimes, it doesn't make sense when a child is taking 5 million and the mother or father is taking 500,000. So just for some companies, they will require a child, a minor, that is 18 and below, at least to have now more than a half of the combined policy amount for both parents. But if you show that this is part of your financial planning for your child's future, you can have as much as 5 million, depending on how much you make and actually your ability to show that this is actually a financial plan the family put together. But for adults, it depends on really, of course, there is, they avoid, money laundering. People, you can't put maybe 20 million when you're not even earning 100,000. But other than that, yeah, there is no limit, as Corinne said on that one. Great one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for the correction there, Ms. Immaculate. Yeah. For children, some rules may apply, but for adults 18 and over, there's no limit. In closing, I just wanted to remind everyone that information without action is just trivia. So don't live here and do nothing. Your future self is counting on your decision to protect yourself from any unforeseen circumstances and to prepare yourself for retirement. So let's make sure that you make that decision and you make it soon and appropriately. So set up a meeting with somebody who invited you or a financial professional of your choosing, and just look at your standing, okay? Even just knowing where you stand is halfway there. So let's say you don't have the money saved away, or your debt is still kind of weighing on you. Just having a plan, this is where I'm headed, it can go a long way rather than just staying in the dark, okay? You never know what the future may bring. So thank you all for joining, and we look forward to seeing you again next week for another session of financial literacy.
Great. Thank you again, everyone. Same time, same hour, same link next week. I will be having different presenters and different topics. As always, if you have something, anything financial, anything money matters, please share with us. We are willing to come here, break it down. We have different financial professionals in our team that are here and ready to educate always. Have a great evening, and see you again next Thursday. Look out for the recording. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.